Hi, I'm Sonia Choquette. Today I want to talk to you about how to get your intuition activated, turned on, kind of awakened, especially if you feel like I'm just not feeling it. I'm just not experiencing my intuition like I should, and I don't know why. So I'd like to welcome you to my channel. Thanks for tuning in. I think this could be very useful for you. I hope you like it, and if you do, consider subscribing at the end of it. So let's get back to what stops intuition and how to wake it up. Now, our intuition is a faculty that really permeates our whole body, and the reason many people are not tuned into their intuition is because you are armored. Your inner self is very protective and defended because you don't feel safe. You don't feel safe in your body. You don't feel safe in your environment. You don't feel safe in the world. And so it makes it really hard to even be in the part of your body that tells you how you feel, period. So the first thing to do is to decide that I am safe, and I am going to be safe, and I am going to be my own best friend, and I'm going to live in my own body and not let other people or the situations around me threaten me the way I have been. Often that feeling of being unsafe stems from a feeling like I don't belong. And we get that feeling often very young, especially if you're an empath, a highly sensitive person, if you're energetically aware, yet nobody's talking about that. So it's very, very common to think, why am I aware of something everyone else is ignoring? You know, it's interesting. I've talked to people and worked with people for a very long time, and what I've discovered is the majority of people feel like in some way I don't belong, because our feeling of belonging really is predicated on the sense that we have to agree or see or experience the world like other people. And that's not true. Actually, no one fully experiences the world like anyone else. We all have our own unique experience of belonging. So what we want to do is say, well, I belong, first of all, to me. And even if I'm having a different experience, I do belong to my family, to my community, and to my world, because we all share the same breath, the same spirit, and belonging isn't part of agreeing with what's going on around me. My own unique contributions contribute to the greater good of the world, not take away from it. So we have to decide, at the minimum, I'm going to belong to myself. I am going to feel comfortable and safe in my own skin and be my own best friend. The way to do that is to start with taking a breath. So take that breath with me right now, breathing in and let out a sigh, because that opens up your jaw, your chest, your heart space, and it kind of opens up that defended, contracted energy that's kind of armoring your heart. So, the sound, is the sound of the heart chakra, the sound of the heart. And it's a sound that is repeated in many spiritual traditions. Words like amen and aloha and alleluia and ah and namaste. The ah opens up the heart chakra, and you can feel that. That kind of eases that armory. Now, we want to feel good and we want to feel safe in your own skin, so that involves you being your own best friend. Just not attacking yourself and not shaming yourself, and starting to be kind to yourself and not make your sense of self-acceptance based on performance. You can enjoy when you have a good performance, you do something well, and you can be inspired to do something better, but your basic worth and goodness and value should never be tied into what you do. Just that you are, that you exist, that your spirit is in your body is enough to say, I am an incredible and miraculous being, and it's true. But how you exist and even breathe in the light of your spirit every day is the wonderful essence of who you are. So this is a big decision. Decide, I'm going to be my own best friend. And when you see yourself in the mirror in the morning, say, hello, best friend. Lovely to see you today. How are you today? And treat yourself like a best friend. Don't treat yourself like the firing squad. Treat yourself and consider yourself. And if you feel bad, say to yourself, it's okay. You're forgiven. It's okay. You'll do better next time. It's okay. It doesn't matter. It's okay. I love you anyway. It's okay. We learn as we go. These reassurances you might not think make a difference, but if you say to yourself, hello, best friend, I love you, and you're wonderful 40 times out loud, it begins to hook onto your subconscious mind, and you begin to accept and integrate and believe that, and you begin to behave differently. The next thing you want to do is you want to look at your value system and recognize, what are my values? Because what allows you to feel good about yourself is to be able to say, I'm living in harmony with the things that I value, that matter to me, that are important, that give me a sense of who I am. That is my value system. And when you betray that value system just to get temporary acceptance or approval or keep the peace, which is something a lot of women have been especially trained to do. Keep the peace. Whatever you do, don't ruffle feathers. Whatever you do, make sure everybody else is okay. Whatever you do, other people's feelings are more important than your own. That is a value you may have had instilled upon you when you were too young to really think about it, but it's certainly not one that you want to live today. I know that when we automatically feel that we have to keep the peace no matter what, or appease others to make them feel okay, to go along with what they're saying because we don't want to be the troublemaker, could actually be you selling out. I remember as a child, I was a child who would always speak up, and I was called too much. You're too much. And it used to be a point of shame for me. I didn't quite understand, what am I too much of? But I came to realize over time that I was too much of a real person, and I wasn't just giving away my power to cooperate with the status quo. So I finally decided maybe too much means I'm too honest, too real, too authentic, and I was willing to live with that instead of feel like something is inherently wrong with me and that I need to tone down, because that's what too much implies. So you're not too much, and you're just right and perfect for who you really are. Write your values down, and when you don't feel good and you're in an energy where you feel like you're being flooded or overwhelmed or swept up in someone else's agenda, and you're cooperating and you don't know why, and you really know inside this doesn't feel good, well, that feeling is the basis and the foundation of your intuition or your inner guidance system. And I know how other people can be very persuasive and very pushy and very demanding, and then accuse you of something being wrong with you if you don't go along with it. So this is where our connection to our intuition gets scrambled. So what we need to do is and what I encourage you to do is write down your values and then develop some statements that will protect you when you are being pushed. It's like, gee, here's, for example, come on, let's do this, let's go for it. I wish I could, but my spirit just isn't into it. Or you can say, my heart isn't into it, I just have to say no. Practice this saying no, and my heart isn't in it, and I got to do what my heart says, and I'm sorry it's disappointing. I know I'm disappointing you, but I have to do what my heart says because I have to live with myself. People will only push 2 or 3 times. If you're really clear and grounded about what works for you, then they will respect you. They'll test, they'll push. But if you say, I'm sorry, I know this is uncomfortable, it's even hard for me to say no, I don't want to disappoint you, but I still have to do what works for me, that's going to help you a lot. Now, if you're in a situation at work where you get pressured, gee, can you help me out? I'm sorry, can you stay late? Can you take this project? And you know that someone is taking advantage of you, and you know that you're fearful that if you say yes or you say no, you're going to compromise your security at your job, what you need to do is say, I really wish I could help you, and I've already made some other commitments I can't get out of, and I really cannot change them. So maybe another time with a little more advance notice. Practice saying these kinds of no statements before you're in the hot, the hot coals of the request, and you have to respond too quickly, because it's when we get caught off guard that we are most likely inclined to abandon ourselves, to keep the peace, to be agreeable. And that is the disconnect from your inner guidance system. Now, it does take courage to be committed to your inner guidance system, absolutely. And we have to practice this. But courage is not just being, willing to fight the good battle. Courage is willing to say, look, I'm uncomfortable, but I still have to respect what works for me. I'm sorry to disappoint you, but this is what works for me. I can't not listen. Now, people will be surprised because it's nothing that we are encouraged to do. And maybe you will get a pushback, but that tells you I am in the wrong situation. I don't think anybody's going to actually take your job away if they're imposing upon you beyond your boundaries, but do take notice. Am I in the wrong situation? Am I constantly betraying what's right for me by being in a situation with people who just don't respect me or just won't honor my boundaries or appreciate what I bring? I do think it's one of the biggest blocks to intuition is it is truth serum, and it does invite you to make changes in your life that actually could be uncomfortable. So ask yourself, am I uncomfortable enough compromising myself, living in my head, living in fear, being armored, feeling cut off like I don't belong? Is that uncomfortable enough to make the decision and take the risk to start getting more in touch with my body, aligning with my values, and really living with my true yes and true no? That's a good question. Practice in little ways so that when you get to the bigger, more stressful situations, you have some experience under your belt. It feels good and empowering to respect what feels right for you inside, and that's the basis of intuition. It starts with taking care of your well-being. So the good news is there is light switches inside you, and all you have to do is turn it on. You don't have to rewire it. You don't have to get in there and do massive reconstruction. You just have to start saying yes to that inner guidance, even if you are afraid. If you don't know what that inner guidance is, can you give yourself a moment to say, I'll get back to you. I'll get back to you. I can't answer that right now. I can't agree to anything right now. I need a moment to check in. And you don't even have to say check in with yourself. Just say, I need a moment to check in and look at what I've got going on. These are new behaviors, but they will bring you congruency, alignment with your true self, and your intuition, once it's turned on, starts amplifying and getting bigger and bigger and bigger. That inner guidance system will take you to people, situations, and environment that is supportive and congruent with your authentic self, and will leave you feeling wonderful. So start here, get in touch with your body, breathe, get in touch with your values, upgrade them so you're not making other people's experience more important than your own, and get in touch with your ability to say, I can't do that right now. I'll get back to you. Then just practice those little things, and you'll find the automatic result is that your intuition starts functioning very well. Thank you for listening. I appreciate you being at my channel. If you feel in any way that this has helped you, I invite you to subscribe, and I look forward to sharing more tips and tools with leading an intuitive life next time. All my love.